Hi, Mark. Can you hear me?
I can, mate. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Fantastic.
Have we started the meeting in terms of the attendees?
There are participants in the room, yeah, because it's a webinar. It'll just kick straight in. So they're logging in. We're at 20 now, and it's going upwards as we go. 22 now.
Okay. So welcome everybody as you come in. We're just looking forward to people joining us. So get settled, make a brew, and we will be with you shortly.
I can't see you, Chris, just to let you know that.
No, I've got the mute on at the moment.
No, that's all good, just as long as we know.
Well, can you just confirm you can see the PowerPoint running?
I can indeed, yes.
Great. Okay, great. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Chris Fordy. Just to show hands, could everyone just, you should have a chat box on your end of the webinar. Perhaps you could just check in and see how, make sure we can see everybody's. Great, Jessica's raised a hand, but lots of people raising hands, wonderful. Thank you. So you can all hear me and potentially see me. Let me just put my video on as well. So welcome everybody. Welcome to our presentation on 11 positive steps you need to take your business forward COVID challenge. And I appreciate it's challenging times for many of us in where we are right now. Our goal for the next hour is to take you through 11, we've actually got added one, we've got 12 key points that you can work on immediately to start to make a difference in where you are and in your business, to not just survive it, but potentially thrive it for some of us. I know it's very difficult times and challenging times, but we will do our best to take you through the process. Hi, hello, Catherine. Hello, Sharon. Thank you for commenting. I just do need to just restart my presentation. So if you just bear with me for a second, I'm going to stop that. And then, so if you just bear with me, I'm going to rerun that. And if perhaps you could tell me when, I do apologise, I seem to be having a slight technical challenge here. Right, I'm going to rerun it, so just bear with me, everybody. The first thing with technology always goes in a challenging environment. So let's just get it up and running. And then just before we start, while we're talking, just so you know who I am and who our organisation is, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because I know we've got more important things to talk about. But Action Coach has been is the largest coaching organisation in the world. We've been around for 26 years. I've been operating in the UK as a business coach and action coach for 16. Before that, I had my own business, which we grew to 12 million turnover and 100 people. I went through 2 recessions. So these sorts of challenging times, this is a very unique situation, but we're going to talk about how we go through these situations and how we come out of the other side. The other thing to understand is we're the senior partner for both York area and Leeds area. So we're the sort of key point of contact from an action coach perspective. We've been operating, as I say, for 16 years. We've created, as our goals, a couple of key goals we've got is create 100 millionaires and create 1,000 jobs. We're on 16 and 17 on the millionaire front. Now, right now, I think our key goal is to save 1,000 jobs, and that's what we've really focused on today, to help as many people as we can. I don't want to spend any much more time on that. I'm happy to answer any questions at any point. When I was looking through, we quite often talk a bit more detail about who we are, but one of our when I was looking at our purpose statement, which is here, I just think it's so relevant right now. And I just wanted you to understand that our goal is to help as many people as we can and provide the valuable business education and coaching, which is about mindset as much as education, within the Yorkshire area, specifically York and Leeds. So we're going to do whatever it takes today to give you the knowledge you need, and moving forward, we appreciate in financially challenging times, some people may or may not be able to afford what we do, but you'll get our help however we make that happen, including if there's any normally paid for services we can offer to you that we need to, that's going to happen, okay? Because we all need to work together as we get through this challenge, and we're here there. So please feel free to keep in contact with us as we move forward, and we're going to not repeat this webinar. We're actually going to have a regular webinar every Friday at this time to help you with your business. We'll have different topics, different content. We'll have different, we'll even have guest attendees. Next week, we've got Lee and Claire from Bridge HR Employment Law, who are going to talk through some of the challenges and how to deal with some of the challenges of employment, which I'm sure is close to your mind. But if you have any questions on that, we can pass them on immediately. I just wondered if we could just do a bit of a poll on your chat box, especially just how you're feeling, what your feelings, your thoughts, and any initial questions as a result of choosing to come on this webinar today, because we really want to give you as much value for the next 55 minutes as possible to help you through the process. So if in the chat box you're able to type any messages about what, how do you feel? The people we're dealing with, somebody's worried because work has slowed down a bit, understand. Hi Nikki, yeah, just be good just to know where you are, because lots of people, and including us, we're local business owners too. We have those challenges, uncertainty, uncertain times, absolutely, and it's uncertainty that causes one of the biggest challenges, in my opinion, because if we don't know, we tend to fear. Beliefs are what we put in place of absolute fact, and fear is quite a strong belief for most of us. Unsure how to continue and evolve my business to make it sustainable the next few months. Brilliant, we're absolutely in the right place. Very worried and totally overwhelmed. I totally get that by what's going on. So we're going to talk through a lot of those things today. And I want to be absolutely clear. Overwhelmed, how to manage with 2 kids. Yeah, I get that too. Thank you. Stressed. Start trading next month. Now I'm sure what to do. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I really get it. There's uncertainty, tough times, apprehensive. As I say, the challenge we have without certainty, or some level of certainty, is we tend to move to fear, and fear creates panic, and panic creates not often inactivity, but it can create activity that isn't always helpful. And we're going to talk a little bit about focusing on who we need to be to do the right things and the sensible things, not just do stuff, because doing stuff often just makes us feel a bit better, but it's doing the right stuff. And we're going to invite you all to come to a planning day, a planning afternoon next Tuesday, which is going to be about 3.5 hours of really going through our 20-point COVID checklist to actually help you get your business even more fit, and have a plan of action over the next 13 weeks, 12 weeks, to really help you see through it and be more confident. Because I think the key thing for me is, if we don't have a plan, then we fill it typically with our beliefs about what's going to happen. At least a plan gets us closer to achieving the goals we want to have. Does that all make sense? I hope that's good for everybody. We were going to do a quick straw poll. Raised hands, thank you for raising your hands. That's wonderful. Mark, if you drop them down when, in a sec. On your chat box again, we were just going to ask at the start of this event, if you were to rate how you felt out of 10, 10 being amazing, 0 being really not very good, could you just, anyone that can or would text, just pop a number into your, just so we've got a bit of a measurement. We've got a 7, great, a 5, a 3, a 6 is a 2, a 4. Okay. There's an 8, there's a couple of 8s, which is good to see. 5s and 4s. Great. Oh, that's great. Someone said they're 5. Thanks to the family and friends. That's wonderful. So, I guess it's sort of middle of the roadish, I'd say, as an average, which is actually maybe takes them. Monday 5, today 7. Wonderful. Great. So there's already a positive view. Yeah, no, I understand some of these cash flow has been hit. We do have a cash flow forecasting tool which we'll cover next week as well. So please, if you don't have a cash flow or a detailed cash flow that you can move around to see what you need to do, please get in touch and keep in touch with us so we can provide you with these tools. All these tools are complementary. It's about using them. It's the most important thing. So thank you for that. That really helps us and positions where we are. And please,
can I just interrupt 1 second?
Yes,
just
Mark.
from a technical point of view, you're coming through okay. Can you just up me? I'm a panelist. Can you make me the co-host just in case anything happens?
Yeah.
Then I can obviously carry on, because obviously we've got a lot of people on this webinar. We want to make sure that everybody's covered.
Yes.
Is that all right?
Yeah, no, that's it. Thank you, Mark. There we are. Make co-host. Sorry.
Just the last thing we missed before we set off, and I thought I'll do that now in case you drop. So, afternoon, everybody. I'll leave you in Chris's capable hands. You're really in for a treat, and you're not all alone. So I'll leave that with you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, you're welcome, Mark. Mark's working with me. He's doing the technical stuff in the background, so you may dive in here and there, and I might ask him a couple of things to do. Let's crack on with the stuff that I know you want to see. So, firstly, just a couple of things on mindset we're going to talk about. I picked up a couple of quotes this week, and I just thought they're quite relevant. I think we want to do our part of pulling together with everybody and helping them get through this. And we do see some challenging behaviours with stockpiling and various other sort of panic buying going on. But we also see some amazing things of people helping each other, helping neighbours, elderly neighbours. I know my mother had a card from the next door neighbours saying they'd go out and get shopping for her or whatever was needed. It's about acting in the right way, in my belief, and it's great to see great acts as well as more challenging behaviours. But the other one I found this, my friend Alex Strater, who runs a business locally in Knaresborough, she found this post. I don't know if anyone's seen it. It might be going around quite a lot, but it is a fascinating thing that good things can come out of challenges. That Isaac Newton was sent home because of the plague and came up with during that period of sort of his key theories on various things physical, and so we can panic. Hopefully nobody here is panicking, but we can how we act depends on how we think. So we're going to talk a little bit about that now, and then we're going to get on to the late 11 key points. So keep any questions coming in. Sorry, somebody saying they have clients at home and they hesitate to run the book sessions. Great. We're going to come on to things like that about how we can think differently and how we do things differently. A lot of us are going to have to pivot what we do and who we work with quite quickly, because perhaps some of our clients aren't either there or available. But business is moving on, so we do need to focus on that as well as fix things. So just a quick thing about mindset, and hopefully this makes sense. It was useful to a lady that came to the event last week, and she told me it was one thing she took away. So I'm going to talk about this. We call it Be Do Have, and when we think about what we want to have, and often when we're helping people grow businesses, it's about increase of profit or wealth or team or happiness. It's things we want to have. Right now, it might be just having a business thriving and surviving in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. I get that. But whatever we want to have, most of us focus primarily on what we need to do. And many of you, like us, have been focused probably on what do I need to do next, what do I need to do next. And that's clearly there are some important things to do right now. The challenge is sometimes when we want to have more, we focus mostly only on the do and try to do more just to in this case survive, and in other cases to have more. The functional for me is there's a big part of who we need to be and how we need to think and feel to probably do things that will get us that result more quickly, more easily, and more safely. So one of the things we do effectively as coaches is help people take a step back, and that's the part of the planning session we've got next week, is to take a step back and think about, okay, I'm doing lots, but it's not having the effect I want. How do I change my thought processes to maybe do different things to get the different result? And we've seen lots of examples of that out there in the community. We'll come back to that a bit later on of businesses that have pivoted very quickly from different client bases, different ways of delivery. We might come on to some examples a bit later on, but I just want to talk about that because we are going to have quite a significant section next week in the planning session to think about how you need to think, what beliefs are helping you at the moment, but what beliefs and fears are holding you back and maybe challenging us right now. Because there's three ways. When we ever have a challenge, the three options are freeze, do nothing; flight, run away, ignore, do denial, try and just hope it'll be okay. The third one is fight, and fight is what do I need to do, but what do I need to do effectively? So what we want to help you do is to get some action points today to make things more effective in terms of your business survival and hopefully thriving. We've got a number of businesses working with that are doing really well in this situation through the challenges because of the way they operate and the customer base they have. So we're going to come on to that. So here come the 11 points. We actually got 12, and hopefully they're going to be as valuable to you as they were to me when I first started working through them. First thing, we've got to communicate. Hopefully you already have. Communicate with everybody and let them know what's going on. Because if we don't tell people, they will make their own assumptions. If they don't know we're here, still doing business, they might think we're not. They might think we can't do something that we can, so communicate. Primarily, let's start firstly with our team. The team need to know what's going on. The people around us need to know that we have a plan. As leaders, we need to keep our team effective. Our customers need to know how we're going to continue to work with them if we can. It might be totally different. It might be the same. It might be different technology. We, like you, may well like us have. From Tuesday morning, we've been operating solely online. Our team of four are all working from home. It's been a bit of a challenge for the technology basis, but we've got through it and it's working pretty well right now. So we are open and we're up for business. We're helping people through this challenge. Your networks, let other people know so they can tell people that you're there, because it's quite likely and possible our customers haven't really gone away and won't really go away. They just may need to find different ways, and we need to find different ways to communicate and access our services. So nothing is, or very little has changed. I know obviously, unfortunately, with the deaths we're going to have and the serious illnesses, we will have a small decline in the potential marketplaces to operate, but it is only a small number. The key thing is the delay during which we may or may not be able to work with them. I hope that all makes sense to everybody. Suppliers and stakeholders, they all need to know, because people will be maybe concerned about whether they're going to get paid, whether they're going to get things from us like we're concerned about our clients. So please keep in touch with suppliers and stakeholders, let them know, so they're not assuming, they're not putting their fear overlaying what they don't know about us or not. And obviously our community, let's let people know what we're doing, because maybe people in our community want to know, maybe they can help us too. So please communicate. It may be obvious thing to do, but be positive. For me, and this is a wonderful quote, and fact I love from John Kennedy, going back a long time, that in the sign for a crisis, there's two strokes, one for danger, one for opportunity. Because in every challenge, there is often an opportunity if we just look at it in a different way. Today's not about pure, just so we're clear, we're not going to say everything's going to be great, don't worry, be wonderful, but be positive in terms of Let's have some goals to achieve, whether that's just getting through it, whether it's driving through it, whether it's changing to get through it, or even how I personally get through challenges that might be really critical. So please be positive. Panic doesn't, panic and worry really doesn't help anybody. It doesn't help anybody at all. It doesn't help us, doesn't help the people around us. So try and step back into a more clear, calm way of thinking, and then take action on the things that we decide we need to do. Look for small wins on every day, every hour and every day. Let's just find those small wins, because there may be lots of negatives and lots of challenges, but let's find small wins. Has anyone that be interested, anyone that got any wins from this week? It's anything that's happened this week that is a win for you already by thinking more differently or acting more effectively. Not seeing anything come up yet, so I'll move on. I think great. Extra comms work for clients, wonderful. Yes, somebody has the accent. Yeah, great, wonderful. Great, I landed a new contract with Warwickshire Police. Wowzers. Launched 2 new agencies. Tom, wonderful. Zoom meetings to communicate with clients and win. Similar with us, Lynn. I have to say, and I have a big thank you to the team for pivoting from, we were planning to have a attended webinar, a physical seminar next week, when we were marketing and sending letters out to that, and we pivoted through to add this webinar on within a few days. Creating new workshops, well done. Inquiry from potential new clients today. Wow, had to make some real big changes, and I've tried to turn it into a support for local business. Have had some lovely moments. Well done. I haven't named anybody because I'm just I think you might be able to read all these, but just for confidentiality. Parents and staff work together with us to come up with a plan for opening to support key workers next week. Just wonderful. Well, thank you. If anything, this has made my day to read all these wonderful things. Supporting those who can ride out this period. Brilliant. Clients are working together and understanding. Great. Well, thank you. We'll keep those coming in. It'd be great to keep looking at those. Small wins. Now, here's one. It might sound a bit flippant, but what it would be to be a toilet paper manufacturer and retailer right now, given the shock buying, etc. But what is it? Here's the question for you. This is one of the actions I'd like you to take away. What is it? What's our equivalent of toilet paper? What do people really need of what we do right now? It might be something different. It might be different industries need what we do in a different way because their industry is growing. We're working with clients that support call centres and helping them to go actually work through the cloud, therefore go back to their homes. They're working from home. That's a massive growth. But other industries won't be able to do that. So it's finding the places and the clients that need what we do, or maybe changing, maybe taking a different skill set that we currently have or developing it. Somebody's continuing as normal as finishing their building process. Well done. That's great news. We're actually, there's lots of businesses. Great. Somebody's teaching their courses online. Obviously, I mean, it's funny. We here ourselves have said, going online is making us more efficient and effective, and obviously allowing us to continue to deliver the knowledge and the expertise that we have. So what's your toilet paper? That's a question for you to think about. What is it, the things that people really not just would be okay to buy, but absolutely want right now? Sometimes less news is better, especially in terms of, we don't need to tell people how to be unless it's actually from a practical perspective. Someone's teaching their daughter at home. Wonderful. How cool. So that's sorry, I better not keep reading those. I'm feeling great. Thank you so much for all those positive examples. We've got to be leaders, guys. We've got to lead our people, whether that's our internal team, whether it's our external team. People, some of our team may be fearful. They will take. We often say life's a mirror. Your team will be a reflection of you. If you're negative, if you're panicking, then they will too. If you're positive, they will be positive. So please be a leader and give people the lead. Know the cycles. Now, we often talk about the cycles, the economic cycles, as being very similar to the seasons. And while this isn't caused by the economy, it may have an impact on the economy. But if you take the same principle, and we know this to be true, but sometimes it's difficult, we sometimes lose sight of it. Just think about, we've actually came out the last economic downturn in 2008. It was quite severe. It was a winter that was very cold, very bleak for many of us. But as you've seen, we came through spring, and we've had quite a long summer over the last few years of a successful growing economy. Now, what the COVID situation will do both for the community, but also the economy, will take us through a very quick autumn into, right now, for many of us, it's a very stark winter. It's cold. We may have lost clients. But this is the point. The key thing for me is, what do we know in winter? What do we know is about to happen at some point? When we come out of winter, what's going to happen? Well, we know spring happens at some point. We're sort of in that period right now. We don't know exactly when we're going to see the first bud on the tree, the first swallow will arrive, but we know it's going to happen. So while it's really understandably important to be focusing on the now, what we need to do to survive, we also need to be planning for the growth that's going to happen in spring. So I've said it's not going to be a super positive presentation. I'm not quite clear on the pragmatic challenges we have. But guys, yeah, Boris last night was talking about, I think the phrase he used was sort of, we'll be through, not, but we'll be starting to get through it at least within 12 weeks is his view. So if 12 weeks we're starting to see a way through it, let's say 14, 16, 18 weeks we're starting to actually come right through it and be able to pass it, that's not that far. So while we do need to do the stuff now, we also need to have that view of growth, and growth will happen. Because if people aren't buying things now, they will be buying them later. So please, let's think about that. But in what do we do in winter? We may be reorganise, we may be change things, we may be plan how we do things. Sometimes we lose some stock, some of the stock we have, and we review and change, as well as batter down the hatches and deal with it. Now, economic cycles are normally 7 to 10 years, so that's the normal cycle of that, but obviously this one is going to be very quick. It may have an economic impact that takes us into another recession moving forward, but again, the value we have as small business owners is we can always increase our market share, market size, by going a bit further afield, whereas national companies, if we lose, if we have a recession, typically a recession drops the GDP by no more. I think the last one was about 7%, but certainly no more than 10. Well, that still means there's 90% of the people are still buying. And it also means we can go and find a small businesses, typically addressing a smaller area, we can widen our area. So please keep positive and think about the cycle. So let's spend some of our time planning the future growth, not just the current. Hopefully that makes sense for everybody. Change. Well, we're going through a massive element of change, period of change. So we do too. And as you say, change is one of the only constants we have. So let's get ahead. Let's plan for change. Let's understand change is there and accept it. Let's lead it. So a lot of people are seeing right now with examples, they're actually leading the charge of changing and actually finding a new way forward. And by being the first, they're going to be the most successful and the safest. They're going to be the most stable. So let's look at what products. Let's look at our products and services. Let's look at pricing and payment. Let's look at how we deliver what we do, because again, physical delivery might be more challenging. Maybe we need to be more virtual online. Who do we need to help us make changes? So who are the people we need? Yeah, even the whole business. So we may need to look at the whole business and say, how does the whole thing change? We may even need to break it apart. We often say with an Actually Coach, a breakthrough comes after a break apart and a break up with. So maybe we need to spend some time, and I know we're dealing with the now right now, but a small amount of time. What if we pulled it apart and we did it? Here's a question, another question I would ask you to consider right now, and we're going to offer you, everyone on the call, a coaching session next week if you'd like to talk about some specifics of your business. Here's a question all our guys are going to ask you, and I'm going to ask you now. What would you do? What would you do differently if you started your business today in this environment? How would you have started your business? But whatever that answer is probably what we should be moving towards. Again, simple. Most of what you're doing today, guys, is common sense. and it's not like it's unique, I get, but as we often say, common sense isn't always that common, especially at a time of crisis. So taking some time and say, if I pulled it apart and rebuilt it, current requirement, what needs to change? Maybe we can get the breakthrough. So unfortunately, we may also need to cut back some things. As we do in winter, or as we go into autumn and winter, we tend to prune down, we tend to lose maybe stock that's older as an ex-farmer, a smallholder. You can look at your stock and you see what maybe needed to swap in or swap out. But it is a fact that we will need to do. Most of us will. We have some clients that are actually investing for growth because this is a growth curve for them. Cash obviously is key. So it's being clear on maintaining your cash levels as much as you can. Obviously, we get challenged by payments and people dropping out contracts. But please, if you don't have a cash flow forecast, which is weekly, perhaps now it should be daily, but let's say it's weekly, we do have a spreadsheet-based cash flow forecast. So you don't need any accounting systems. We can take you through that and we can help you, and we're more than happy to send you that to start planning when your cash is coming in, when you have to pay it out, and just looking at what that impact that's going to have. So as things change, as people maybe tell you that they're going to pay late, or unfortunately don't tell you just don't pay late or do pay late, you can adjust how you might manage that with the payments you make. Stop spending unnecessarily. If you've got plans to invest in something that you don't need to necessarily, and that's not going to help you either survive or grow, then maybe this is the time just to put it on hold, not necessarily cancel it, but at least put it on hold until you can see the cash flow situation improving. But be clear, guys, there is a difference between cost and investment. And investment should give you a return. We see this time and time again, even in good times, that people don't invest in the things that will help them grow or survive in this case. They just don't do anything. They cut costs and stop. And that's as nonsensical as spending on things that you don't need to spend on right now. Please look at what will help you survive or grow. Sorry, I'm just reading just a new paper. My business collapsed last year. I'm so sorry about that. No mistakes, only lessons. I would have been more confident that it's okay to be me. That is my biggest asset. And someone forgot to monetize that. Thank you for posting that to me. Going back to the idea of BDO have the employee use. If you imagine, let's take an entrepreneur we all like and admire, perhaps, or most of us do, Mr. Branson, but just take somebody that you consider to be successful. Let's say he's worth about 3 billion, I think. Let's just imagine, in terms of the be and the do, let's imagine that his business, everything, all his wealth disappeared today. He just went, he flipped a switch, he's no longer anymore. Now he's about, in his 70s, I think he spent about 50 years to grow his business empire and his wealth to about 3 billion. If it's all gone, any comments of June, how long do you think it would take him to get back to about 3 billion? So let's say it's taken 50 years to get to here. Any ideas, if you want to put any suggestions in the comments? 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, I honestly suggest even less than that. I don't think it would take. It was probably, rather than he's probably made thousands of deals to get to where he's right now, he'd probably get back to it in 5. And those don't need to take that long, because it's not about what he's going to do. He's not going to start selling records out the back of the van to keep the VAT. He's going to start doing deals that he's doing and he knows how to do. And that's the same with us. And the comment about the learnings, we've all created a massive asset, which is us and our wealth of knowledge. And even if the worst happens, the business doesn't make it, we can still recreate that moving forward. Because of who we are and what we've done. I applaud everybody. We really must pat ourselves on the back for who we are and how we've got to here. So please do that. And yeah, thank you for that reminder. So where can I reduce and manage outlays? Maybe I can look at replanning what I was planning to do. I know this is all, again, quite obvious, but some people feel obliged in certain areas, but we've got to feel more confident. Renegotiate. There's an opportunity to renegotiate. They'll be challenged too, and maybe it's just a phone call just to talk about how we might make things work. Slow things down or postpone. All that is probably quite obvious, and I guess for many of us we've already started that process. But if you haven't, we did speak to somebody this week that hadn't really thought through the fact that fairly soon their customer base is going to be challenged. So although business was fine now, it was likely likely not going to be really quickly. So just that question and that discussion helped them to really see they need to start looking at where they need to be. But keep marketing and selling and developing the business, because other people probably aren't. So if we put ourselves to the front, we're going to be the people that now and in the future are going to be the forefront of both survival and growth during this period. So please remember to do that. Investment. If we don't invest in marketing and sales, we ain't going to get any more customers. Well, where possible, extend credit. Some of you might be challenged by this idea, and in some cases it's inappropriate. But from our perspective, get credit that you can. Whether it's secure, I don't know. We all have different opinions whether it's secured or not, or what it's secured against. And I'm not suggesting that you start to take personal security onto this, although that, for some of us that will be the right thing to do. But get it now while banks are still lending, and the bank and the government is saying this money is available. We have as an aside for everyone on the call, we will be sending you, as a thank you today, our update. We've got a 2-page update on information that's available to you, primarily from government sources about various things, HR, but also loans, grants, the other things they're talking about. So we'll send that, and it's got the links that you can click through, because again, probably sometimes when we're doing the do, we don't take a step back to go and look at other things that can help. So please make sure that you get that, and that we hope it's really useful. And the other tip that we had, David Fisher, who's one of our team members on here, has suggested we do is, yes, no, you're welcome. Very welcome. We'll send that through. But please talk to your trade bodies. If you're part of a trade body, they should have done the analysis specifically for your trade, because we're seeing grants, loans, etc., are relevant or at different levels for different sectors, because they're trying to support obviously the ones that are most obviously challenged, like leisure, like transport, like airlines, etc. So that's another source, but this will give you some general useful information. So please make sure you get that. We will be sending an email, a thank you email out with that, with links to the next set of events that we've got coming up. Yeah, credit lines and even credit cards where due. I'm not, clearly I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not suggesting that we should all take more debt. But here's the deal. If you know your business is successful and should be healthy, and will be in a matter of months, once we get through this thing, then it's about doing, in my opinion, doing what it takes to survive through it. Now, we all have a different view on credit and debt, and I get that, and I'm not suggesting that we'll get silly with this, but if all we need is to get through to a point where we know we're going to go back to being successful, then my suggestion is we do whatever it takes. I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure we should take personal debt on. This is your personal choice, but consider it. If you know your business is going to be successful, why wouldn't you? That would be the question. It's more the fear we have right now that we don't know, and I get that. So if you're not sure, then maybe it's not right for you. But refinancing, there are potentials to refinance your assets. Look at what options you have, and then there will be low rates. We do have a mortgage company working with us, and obviously the base rate now I think is right now at 0.1 or 0.2. So the rates are low, although you don't get that. They will have an impact on what lending rates you might be able to achieve. Great, well done. Well done. Someone's already taken that step. Let's just get out there and just see what's available, because everybody wants, everybody's there to help and to do business. And so, and they'll probably be as fearful as we are. So if you can get a deal from them, they might want to do a deal that extends our terms, because they want to keep us as a client. So please think about those negotiations. Now, unfortunately, if things are really going to be challenged, we do need to look at staffing. We've got some challenges, and as I said, we've got the team from Bridge Employment Law with us this time next Friday, and I'll ask them to do a little bit of a Q&A probably on Tuesday if they're able to. I haven't asked them yet, but for those who come onto that session, just to give you some ideas. But if you have any specific HR questions I can pass through to them, please send them to me. Probably best not on the chat, just because it's recording it. But if you email us, you'll have had an email from us, and we will be emailing you after this. So if you want to come back to us, the team said they've been more than happy to help answer any questions, and if you need any work done, they can do that. They're having lots of, as you can imagine, lots of people inquiring of them about what take vacations. Obviously, with lockdown, that may or may not be possible, but if you've got the opportunity, maybe if staff aren't going to be utilised fully, maybe they can take some time. Maybe they want to take time with the family. Yeah, the thing from our perspective of unfortunately, if we do have to make layoffs or redundancies, just do it all at the same time. If you do it bit by bit, it tends to create even more instability and panic within our teams. But we may find people leaving us, so there may be an attritional opportunity that people want to make changes right now and allow that to happen. Sometimes we just have to. So I really want to be clear on this. I've talked to a few clients about this. We've got to treat our teams grown-ups. I know we all want to look after them and we want to help them and make sure we employ them well, but the business needs to survive to maintain its employment of as many people as it can. And if that means we have to lose people to do that, that is the right thing to do for the good of the whole. It's tough, it's not pleasant, but it's just practical business sense. Maybe as an alternate for actually laying people off, people might be willing to take pay cuts for a period. We know we've seen that already with a couple of businesses. I know one client yesterday said the top team has said that they are willing for a reasonable period to work without pay to get through, because they can see it's a successful business. It's just its client base has disappeared quite quickly for a period, but they will come back because people need what they do. Maybe suspend bonus programs. That's a pragmatic thing to do, but we need to talk to teams about that. Players work from home. I guess it's an obvious one. It feels. I honestly have probably no better idea, perhaps even worse idea than the practical nature of what the government are going to do. But I'm pretty sure we will go into lockdown at some point, so we'll have to work from home. So let's make sure we've got the things we need to do so. What technology we need. This is again probably just common sense. How do we have meetings and reporting? Is phone good enough? Can we do group conferences on our mobiles? Someone saying that one of the challenges, no laptops, is a challenge to work at home. But yeah, let's just take the desktops home. We don't need the laptop. It's only if we can afford to work. But if we know we're going home, let's just take the laptops home. Let's get set up as our offices. Let's do what we need. But so yeah, how are we going to have our meetings and reporting? How are we going to do that? How are we going to service our customers? Because maybe they used to come and see us. So how do we change that? It may be the same mechanism as we have our meetings together, but maybe it should be different. Is it a one-to-one? Is it one-to-many? Can you run webinars like this for clients to help them? Maybe even add additional services to help them through what they're going through as well. How do we do banking and mail? These are obviously quite obvious things, but things to think about. Part of the thing we're doing next Tuesday is we have a 20-point checklist that we're going to work through with you to deal with the COVID situation. So there's lots of things most things you probably have thought of, but some things may not. And if we can get you to think about them ahead of time, that would be great. We don't know how long it's going to be. As say, I think listening to Boris last night, I think my interpretation of his words were we will have hit the peak of the challenge within 3 months. So we'll be looking at the other side of it, and then my belief is if we're able to test about whether we've had it, then I think we can return to normal quite quickly because of the expected immunity we have from going through it. So if we know we've removed and we can prove it, then obviously people can start to have business as usual. But I'm no expert on this. This isn't about the situation other than the business implications. So I hope that makes sense. Deliveries. How do we do deliveries if we deliver a product or service? Pharmacies, CVS pharmacies offer free delivery. We may need to find a different way to deliver. And if so, do we need a different team to deliver in a different way? Do we need more technical people to deal with the technical challenges of delivering maybe a service online? And that can be internal staff. It could be hired staff. There's plenty of great guys out there that can do virtual work for you. If they won't come to you, then maybe we can go to them again. Who knows with the situation? But we don't have to go to them physically. Again, we can go to them virtually. We can use tools like this potentially. I know lots of different businesses delivering a product, a physical product. Yeah, we still do and we'll have to take deliveries. How do we deal with packaging accounts? But again, it all comes back to communication for me. Let's let people know, because if they don't know, they might assume we're not able to deliver our services or products anymore, and we may lose them just from a lack of communication. So hope that makes sense. Please make sure we keep marketing. People need to know we're open for business. We're able to do what we do. They might assume we're not if they don't hear from us. So please, another action plan I would suggest is to put out a press release or email all your key clients as a matter of urgency to tell them how you're dealing with the situation. I guess most of you have, but sometimes, again, we're busy doing that we think is going to help rather than planning what we need to do. Increasing marketing, there's a great opportunity now, both for the now, but also for the future, to get more business. People still need most of what we do. Some of the people we work with, I know at least one person on here work directly in the travel industry, and clearly right now, that's not that customer base is going to be in lockdown themselves. But I have to say, he knows who he is, and I won't name him, but his modesty, although I might get him to speak, if not later on today, but maybe next week, has just said, right, we're pivoting into other sectors that we already work in. So rather than flight or freeze, the immediate fight reaction, and it's to their credit, the whole team, that they've just focused bang straight into what other industries need what we've got, because the expertise is the value, not the market. There is some market sector knowledge which is useful, but the expertise is still valuable, and there's lots of other sectors that will be growing and are growing right now because of what they do. Negotiate your rates. So the rates for marketing, if you contract marketing agencies and whether it's online marketing, newspaper marketing, there will be great rates out there right now, I can assure you. So think about the return on investment you can get. Look at new offers, because we might need to offer different ways on the basis of what we do. So how we used to do what we do may not be relevant to how people want to buy it now. So this change is happening so quickly. So please look at it from the client's buying perspective. Can they buy? Is it sensible to buy how they used to buy, or is there a new way to buy for them? Now, for those of you that know Action Coach and are familiar with our 5 ways to make significantly more profit, if you know your 5 ways, it's really key to keep those, keep tracking those and working on those. If you don't know those, we will talk about those next week, because although you know, a lot of this is about survival, we also want to talk about thriving and making things work. Get cash up front when you can, because cash is going to be quite important. So if possible, get cash up front. Repeat business. Here's the deal. Existing customers are the best one. We are going to market for new ones, but also market and talk to existing clients about what they need and how we can help them right now. Look at creative deals. Create deals and creative deals for them. What do they want right now? Is there things that they would like? Maybe they need it in a different way. Maybe they need a fraction of it. Maybe they need part of what we do right now, and we can focus on that and package that up in a different way. If there's an ability, if they agree like you that, you know, this is about seeing maybe a bulk buy, maybe a longer term buy is sensible for them because they're confident. We're doing that right now with a number of clients who know that everything's going to be business as usual for them soon, and they just want to keep consistency of support from us. Keep it all costs. Keep your customers at all costs. Do whatever it takes. Let them know that you hear from them and ask them what you need to do to keep them as a valued client. And again, the common theme for me is communication. I hope this is all making sense. Please keep any comments coming in. Leanne, who I know works in the decorating world, if you're well in at home, it's a perfect time to catch up with decorator. I couldn't agree more, Leanne. And Leanne has an amazing range of wallpapers that you might want to choose to put up in your house. 80-20. Without going into a lot of detail today, you'll find in your business typically 80% of your profit, not your turnover, your profit will come from 20% of your clients. That's a Pareto rule. It might be 70-30, it might be 75-25. But focus therefore on the 20% of clients that give you 80% of profit when you're thinking about retention. We by all means do a blast email out to people, but if you're going to pick the phone up, don't start with A and then go to B and C. Look at your top 20% that are really supporting and driving your business and keep them close to you. We can talk about that next time, but most of you will, I hope, accept that you get a lot of profit from a fewer clients and work on those. So step 12, you got a bonus step because we like to give more. Common sense, but it's just a bit of rule. Common sense is key. We talked about common sense is key, and most of what we talked about is common sense, but common sense isn't that common, especially in times of panic. Over deliver on our customer service. So under promise, over deliver. Keep people delighted so they remember this moving through. I know this stuff's obvious. We already know about clean and don't touch, but if you forgive me, we put this together last week when perhaps it was a little less obvious. Let's try and take a chill pill. Or perhaps we say try and take a chill pill. Certainly be nice. I know it's going to be challenging, and I know we will lose businesses. Let's be quite clear in this, but we can still work through it, and that isn't the end of the road. There is still new things. So, but let's try and take the chill pill in terms of thinking about what we need to do. And don't buy too much trouble. I don't think you can anymore. It's almost impossible. Not only isn't there any left, but now we're going to get limited quite rightly. I wish they'd done that at the start. But yeah, let's have some common sense out there, guys. Any comments coming through, please let me know. We're going to do a Q&A in about 5 minutes. We just want to let you know what the next stages are for our support of you moving forward. Someone's put through, cut kitchen roll in half is my 80-year-old mum's advice. I agree. You can't get that either. But yeah, if you can get that, that's absolutely right. I saw a jokey video online a couple of days ago of a guy paying for things with pieces of toilet paper like they were notes, which is quite funny. So this is what we'd like you to do. I'd like you all, before you come off this call, just so you do it, list 5 things you're going to do as a result of this. List 5 things you're going to do. Hopefully there's at least 5 things you know you need to do of action that you're going to do today to make a difference. Hopefully that we've already added some value to that. What we'd like to do for those that would like more specific help in their business, probably related to what we talked about today, we're going to open up 15 coaching sessions a week for anyone that needs them. So when you get the email today as a result of the session, we've got 15 half-an-hour sessions. They'll be quite quick and quite to the point, but we're going to help you move things forward and shift things through. So if that's something you'd like to take up, just respond and let us know. And if perhaps we could just show of hands, because we can call a couple of people quite quickly this afternoon. Is there anyone put their hands up who would like, Mark, if you make sure the hands are down, but anyone like to have a call with myself or Mark or potentially David or Charlie next week, or maybe this afternoon? Okay. We'll send you the request, and we will be emailing you and potentially calling some of you next time. So this webinar every Friday, 12:30 every Friday, we'll send you a link in the email, and that'll be a repeat one. So until this is over, these webinars are totally free to you. We'll be bringing you information. We'll be updating the government sources of information that we can give to you. We've asked the team from HR, Bridge HR Law, to virtually come in and answer some questions. Sorry, go back to that. Answer any questions that you have. But if you would like to send them to us for their preparation, we'll do that. And if you'd like any help immediately, you need to talk to somebody about maybe some issues, please let us know. Yeah, we'll come back to that. That's so good. Yeah, there's some people want to hear more. That's great. Somebody was postponed for now, which is understandable. Someone wants to speak with Mark. That's good. All call would be helpful. Fantastic. Look, we'll get that done, guys. That's a totally complimentary offer. We have so next Tuesday at 12:30, we've got an afternoon planning session with a 20-point COVID-19 planning checklist to help you go through and set actions week by week for the next 90 days, which hopefully will see us through the worst of this and start to see the shoots of how we can get back to normal. I'd like you all to come, and I'm going to show you how that works for you guys. Please come. Everything's done online. We've got all the materials ready to rock. It's going to be a brilliant afternoon, not just getting some actions, getting your thoughts clear, thinking about what beliefs are helping you move forward, what beliefs aren't helping you, and we need to start, what skills we need to develop maybe to change the new environment. It's 3.5 hours, you get focus, clarity and action, and you will have a plan at the back of it that you can follow to get you closer to where you know you want to be. So please come to that. We normally, we're going to focus on planning, not panicking, because evidence reduces fear. Now, evidence of the future is, we can't definitely know what's going to happen in the future, but the best, closest thing we've got is a plan. We know it's a big challenge. Either you can't believe it. I know we've got quite a few individual business owners on their own, solopreneurs. If we just want you to come, we thought about this a lot. I talked to a few people. We normally charge nearly £400 for this. There's a free option. We'll send you the link. You can book on. It's totally free. If you all come for free, that's fine. If your business is reasonably okay, we've reduced the price significantly. If you're a team of less than 5, it's £97 plus VAT. If you're a team more than 5, it's £197. We normally charge £397, and I guarantee it's worth way more than that, especially if you start a business. I was really, just speaking plainly, I didn't know if it's right that we should charge or not charge, to be perfectly honest. We're here to help and focus on help, but ultimately we're also business. And I think it's reasonable that, we're doing our bit to help by reducing what we do, but I think it's okay. But in all honesty, so if you know it's a reasonable amount and you can afford it, please pay it. If you don't, please come. The funniest thing I have seen time and time again is people say, well, I can see it's valuable, but I can't afford it, so I don't want to waste your time. Please just book the free option. Perhaps I should have just put free, but I'm pretty sure of the 50-odd businesses we have online right now, this is as much about growth as it is about survival. So, and in that case, this is an investment for that. But sorry to blabber a little bit, but it is a situation that is close to our heart to add value as much as we can. So you're going to get a full email, the invitation, the links to book on the next 2 sessions if you want to, and the link to go to the 90-day plan if you'd like to. So that's it, guys. I'm going to ask you before we finish how you're feeling, but I'd like to take any questions. Anyone got any questions? They can either put them on the chat. I can unmute you, or maybe Mark can unmute you if you have a question. We have a hand. Hold on. Has that hand been up for a while? Mark, can you see this?
Let me just check. That was Pat earlier asking, saying that obviously about coaching, but if anyone has a question and wants to either just put a Q in the chat and I can unmute them, or type it in to the chat box, I think we can go from there.
Okay. And any comments as well? Anything you'd like to say? I'm going to ask you how you're feeling before we finish. Thank you. Someone said we need to make a living too. Thank you. Yeah, that's where we are. Okay. Either that's been totally boring, or we've covered lots of bases and you're thinking about what you need to do. If anyone would like printed workbooks for you today, we can. Thank you, Pastor. We have thought this through. We are going totally online this time, just for everyone's benefit. But obviously, Inkdot have done a brilliant job with this in the past of printing our, and will continue in the future when we go back to face-to-face stuff. But lots to think about, Becky. Thank you. Thank you. Helpful tips to keep calm. Thank you, John. That's great. We know this is a challenge. We get it. It's a challenge for us as much as you. We're a business, a York-based business too. So we know it's challenging, but the more we can be calm. When we're not motivated, we need fire. We need to fire on our belly to get things done. When we're in panic mode, we need to chill. We need ice to cool down, and that's where we are right now. So lots of positive messages. If I can't see any questions yet, I'll just keep that going. Thank you for your comments. We'd like, with your permission, we'd like to just use a couple of. We'll make them anonymous because we don't need, but we'll take some of your comments for future sessions. And please, if you've got value, tell other people and send them the link that you're going to get to come to both this webinar next time. But if you're going to come to the planning day, please invite them along. If you want to go for free, that's absolutely fine. Oh goodness, thank you. It's put your mind at rest. Thank you so much. Action today, speak to the British Print Federation. Brilliant, Pascal. Yeah, facepalm moments. Yeah, just talk to your trades. I'm going to totally credit David Fish for that. Brilliant idea. Just talk to the people around you because they'll have collated it for your industry. Right, great. We've got a question here. So, when your clients are negative, how do you make them feel immediately calm and positive? Oh goodness. Sharon, let's try some technology and unmute you, if you don't mind. Are you okay for this? If not, just say when we unmute you, say no. Allowed to talk. Right, here we go. Sharon, are you there? Oh,
yes, can you hear me now?
I can. Hello, how are you?
Hello, fine. I have a problem with my camera, so you might not be able to see me.
Okay.
I found this has been really interesting, but I think for a lot of us, we're talking to our clients, as you said, we're communicating with our clients, which is really vital. But when I'm speaking to clients, a lot of them are like, not only are we fearful, they're so fearful, they're worried. It's really hard to go in and say, look, I'm here to help you. You still need to have our services. They're going to help you get through this. It's going to take your business forward. When they're really fearful and you just engage in this negative conversation, where I prefer to change their mindset and change it around, and let's go in with a positive call, because I'm a very positive person naturally. But when you're talking to clients, it can be a bit doom and gloom, obviously, with the current circumstance. So how do we, in our communication, change that around and try to make them feel reassured?
Great question. Obviously, this is a slow for shoulder bit. It's different to each person, but this is my advice. So if we're talking about face-to-face verbal communications, I think you're talking to them and they're saying no, it's going to be terrible. The great phrase I like, both in coaching and to some extent in sales, business development, is the truth comes out of the other person's mouth. So if we tell them it's going to be okay, that's our truth. We need them to tell us it's going to be okay. So some of the questions might come out. Where do you think we're going to be in a year? What do you think the situation is going to be like? Now, I think the fairly common knowledge is we should be well out of this, certainly medically, within months rather than years. So, maybe getting to the future, getting past the now to say, okay, so there is a point in time when things are going to be great. So what do we need to do to plan, you and I, to make sure we continue to provide our services through this period? It might be a different type of service. It may be a reduced service. But clearly, if we stop, if you stop trading, you don't have any more. But there isn't a way through. Does that make any sense? So I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, definitely, it makes sense. It's helped a lot. So I just think it's, I love talking to people and keeping in touch, but I just straight away I've noticed with quite a few of my clients, it goes down this spiraling negative path, and I'm thinking, yes, we have to face now, and yes, we're all facing, we're all in the same boat, and it's affecting all of us, and we've all got to work together to try and get out of this. But business still has to continue across the board for everyone. So that's my main concern, is how do that kind of enforcing them to believe that everything is going to be okay, and we have to be hopeful, and we have to look, hopefully, like you said, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, things will start to get back to, as we say, the normality. But it's just kind of reassuring them,
Totally. I said there's leadership, and clearly you're doing that, saying, look, this is going to happen. The analogy I do think is really relevant is the seasons, is the spring. We're in winter, spring will come. We don't know exactly what day spring will break. We don't know I'm going to see the first bird or the swallow, but we know that happens. Like we know the economy will recover. So then we're just talking about how long.
Yes.
So but my suggestion is ask questions to get them to say their truth to you, rather than tell them that it's going to be okay, because that's your truth. And I agree with you, so it's cool. But if I don't agree with you, I'd rather say, well, look, how long do you think it's going to last? Well, what's the government advice? Use evidence. Boris has said in 12 weeks we will be through the worst of it. Now, whether what you think about Boris is a very situation, but the government view is 12 weeks. So most businesses just need a plan to let's go for 15, for 20 weeks.
Exactly, to the recovery stage, and then
hopefully that helps. I mean, if there's any particular questions, I'd love, any particular scenarios, I'd love to work through those with you at some point.
Okay, no, thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'll try and, Mark, can you mute Sharon again. Great session. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Okay, concise, informative framework. Thank you, Patrick. That's great. Okay, I can't see any more questions. We're here to help, guys. So you'll get the email. You'll get some contact details for us. Please, whatever you do, keep asking questions and tell us how we can help. We're part of the business community. Our goal is to create more jobs and at the moment save more jobs. And ultimately, by doing so, we will grow our business. So we know we're not doing this just purely from an altruistic position, but we want, please tell other people about, this event, the events coming forward, and that we're here to help. And if people can't afford it right now or have a challenge, we'll find a way to help. On that note, I can't see any more comments. Thank you everybody for your time. We'll have an email out to you today. Worst case Monday morning, but I'm pretty sure it'll be out today. We've got it pretty much pre-prepped. Will there be a summary of the session? Yes, we can send. We'll record it, and we'll hopefully send a link out fairly soon. I see no reason not to send you the PowerPoint if that would be useful, Catherine. Is that the sort of thing that would be useful to you? We could definitely do that. We might just top and tail a couple of bits out, but it will be the main. So both please, great. And we've got the government information that we can send you guys. As I say, please, you'll help other people greatly by telling them how valuable this event was from your comments. And we'd love to see more people, both on Tuesday and next Friday. Wonderful. On that note, we're 4 minutes late, so apologies for that. But hopefully it's because we've added great value. On that note, Mark, when you're ready, we will, suppose we'll get a few more comments, but we'll get a few comments, so it'd be nice to leave that through. But on that note, guys, thank you so much. We'll just leave it open. Any comments are greatly received, and please, as I say, tell other people. And if you haven't enjoyed it, don't tell anybody at all. That would be great. Wonderful. Okay, Mark, I think we're nearly there. I think
we are nearly there.
I might just take my. Cool. We're getting a few more thanks. That's wonderful. Pastor, thank you. Very welcome. It's great to catch up soon. Okay.
Yeah, I'll have to. Do you want me to just leave it open, Chris, for a short while in case anyone does have a specific question? Yeah. But other people, obviously, a few starting to leave now. And that's great. If you want to leave, guys. Thank you all for coming on. Really enjoyed your input and your comments throughout the talk. Thanks for all the comments on there as well. But if we can help, obviously get in touch with one of us. But we will be in contact via email by the end of today.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll leave that up just because there are still comments coming in, Chris.
Yeah, just leave that up and running. That's absolutely fine. Well done. Well done. Thank you, Mark. That was great to have you there. Just making all that happen.
No, that is all good. Like I said, I think it's still 20 people online, so hopefully they're all okay. Yeah. That's good.
Peter, I'd like to catch up with you soon. Peter Mumfield. I see you're still there.
He's still on as long as he's not walked away from his computer and ignoring us.
Making a cup of tea. That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
We've made him late for his lunch or something, obviously. Yeah. That's good.
Yes, thanks, Claire. Yeah, I'll look forward to catching up.
Yeah, 9 people left, so see who's still on there.
Okay. So if David and Charlie are on, when we get down to that, we'll have a quick. Can we open should we stop the recording in a second?
Yeah, do you want me to stop the recording now?
Yeah, stop the recording, that's fine.